Tales from the Darkside, Season 1, Episode 8, The Word Processor of the Gods. A story based on a Stephen King short story that was first published in January 1983 in Playboy magazine. Yeah, they actually used to publish short stories in Playboy. Amazing. So I guess my dad wasn't lying when he said he read Playboy for the articles. But most people, including myself, first read it in the 1985 release Skeleton Crew, a compilation of Stephen King short stories. Stephen King explained that the way he got the idea for this short story, Word Processor of the Gods, is he himself got his very own word processor. He was using a typewriter before, and he was amazed that it had a delete button. And he was just fascinated that he could write a word, then hit delete, and it would delete it. And so he got the idea of, what if you type something in, an object, and you hit delete, and it actually deleted it in real life. That's how he got the idea for this short story. The main character is Richard, and he's a struggling writer. Yeah, Stephen King written all over this one. A struggling writer who has a annoying metalhead son and an overbearing, unattractive wife. She doesn't look too bad in this episode, but it's described in the short story, and in this episode, she's supposed to be really, really, really ugly and really, really overweight. So he kind of hates his life, and he receives this word processor. He actually gets a whole computer terminal in this adaptation, and he got this word processor from his brother that recently died. That him and his brother were not close, and they never got along well, and his brother would constantly pick on him. We get right from the start, we can kind of see this setup. Richard is kind of a nerdy, down on his luck guy who people kind of just walk all over. His wife yells at him. She's not respectful to him at all. His son's annoying and just plays metal guitar in his face. Take that, Dad. It is cool seeing the old technology. I mean, look at this terminal. It's like, he has like a wooden terminal. So it seems like this is just a word processor. It's not an actual PC computer. You see, you insert the gigantic floppy disk. You then hit execute, and then you can type. Doesn't seem like you can do anything else, but you can do those things. Oh, and it has that delete button. It seems Richard's brother built the word processor just for Richard, specifically for him. So it might have some magical powers. This is not something you can just buy in the store. Another reason maybe it looks kind of janky with a duct-taped wooden frame. I think they're trying to say that he kind of put this together haphazardly, but imbued it with some magical powers. Richard decides to mess around with the word processor. He's not going to get to writing any books right now. He just starts typing random things in and decides to type in to move his wife's picture to the living room. And the picture immediately disappears and goes to the living room. He then types in to have it come back to the basement, and it magically appears right back in the basement. He then asks for what everyone would ask for, Spanish gold, and he gets actual gold. He is obviously very excited about this and begins to type in for the word processor to give him 20 ideas of best-selling books. The fuse then blows because his son is playing this terrible music upstairs. Like, you could tell his guitar playing is awful and annoying. And so he decides to do something a lot more sinister and decides to delete his son. Just type in his son's name and hit the execute or delete button. And he finds that actually his son does disappear. That awful music that was distracting him from all his amazing book ideas and all the money he's going to make just magically goes away because his son is no longer around. Richard then decides to delete his overbearing, obnoxious, unattractive wife, and that works as well. Her picture disappears and she no longer exists. However, he's asking this word processor for a little too many wishes, and it begins to overload and basically explode. Now, the episode doesn't end the way I thought it was going to. I figured, he's doing some bad things. He's going to get his comeuppance. He's going to die. But I actually like the way they end this episode. Even though what he's doing is bad, he's literally deleting the people from his life, his son, and his wife. He actually gets kind of a good ending. See, he was always jealous of his brother, specifically his brother's wife. They mentioned earlier in the episode when he was typing on the word processor that he actually wanted to date his brother's wife. That's who he wanted to be with, not with his current wife. And so he actually gets that at the end. He actually gets a better family, a better son, and a better wife. So I guess things ended up fine after all. He does end up not trying to rebuild the word processor. He'll just throw it in the dumpster. So I actually do like the ending. The bad guy doesn't always have to get their comeuppance. If everyone just dies at the end, it becomes way too predictable. I actually like the fact that they kind of spin it and they go, hey, things work out well in the end. He gets a hot chick and a nice son. You go, all right, cool. So I think Word Processor of the Gods gets a 7 out of 10. It is an above average episode. It makes most top 10 lists, and I can see why. I think it's really good. It's not Stephen King's best short story. I think The Mist is my favorite short story by him, but it is really good and has a lot of parallels to not only other stuff he's written, but definitely The Shining. A seemingly normal writer starts typing on his processor, computer, typewriter, and ends up going a little crazy. The main character, Richard, was played by Bruce Davison. He's been acting since the late 60s and has 277 acting credits and is still acting in movies today. He's most known for playing the main character Willard in the 1971 cult movie Willard. He was also in Mother Jugs and Speed, Grand Jury, Brass Target, and then in the 90s was in movies like Goodfellas, The Cure, It's My Party. He's basically been in everything. And he did a pretty good job in this episode. Good job, Bruce Davison. You keep on acting. Next up is episode 9, A Case of the Stubborns, about an old guy who will just not die. But you get to see him decompose during the entire episode. It's actually kind of gross. So check it out.
From forgotten classics to those well known, each movie, each show, each Twilight Zone, he's got that charm of passion so true, breaking it down just for me and you. So hit that button, subscribe today. TV Anthology's got a lot to say. They'll guide you through those tales of fright, breaking it down just for me and you.